This week on WestfordCAT News, summer recess has finally arrived. Find out how long it will last and when the new school year begins. We also explore the pros and cons of proposed sidewalks on Robinson Road.
We're linking two of our schools and we're providing a recreational corridor for residents that are on the street, as well as for the high school students who make a circuit around that neighborhood as part of their afternoon exercise regime for the various sports clubs.
To leash or not to leash was the topic of an energetic discussion at the last Conservation Commission meeting.
So I don't know how we have the ability now to currently allow you to have that ability to let your dogs run free when it's contrary to the regulation.
I'm Chris Steinhauser, WestfordCAT assistant. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to sign up for our email alerts. To get our latest Westford news articles, just visit westfordcatnews.org and click on the red subscribe button in the upper right corner. School ended this week in Westford for the town's 5,000 plus students. The awards ceremonies, scholarship presentations, and graduations are over, and students are scattering for the summer. Newly hired town and schools facilities manager Paul Fox said the 9 schools will get a scrubbing, and he has lists of projects to complete, including requests by the school principals. School vacation is 10 weeks long, and next year's school year begins on August 27th for grades 1 through 5. Grades 6 and 9 will have orientation that same day. Pre-kindergarten and kindergarten students will have orientation days on August 27th through the 29th. For grades 7 and 8 and 10 through 12, classes will begin on August 28th. In the meantime, enjoy your summer, Westford. And now for our feature of the week, making way for sidewalks. On one side, there is the Pedestrian Safety Committee Chairman Chris Barrett, advocating for sidewalks along the historic Robinson Road, from Concord to Flag Roads. On the other side are the homeowners on the 2 streets, many of whom do not want the proposed sidewalks and widened roadways. At the May 14th Selectmen's meeting, Barrett said the sidewalks would connect the Crisafulli and Robinson schools. Despite the opposition from the homeowners, Selectmen voted unanimously to move the project to the Capital Planning Committee so that members could consider funding a design plan. But homeowners such as Dorothy Gomer, who lives in a historic house on Flag and Robinson Roads, said the stone walls will be disrupted.
So my 3 quick points are mostly the walls. To see them destroyed, broken up, would be a travesty and would be extremely upsetting. My second point is, again, I have not seen people walking their children to school. I have a neighbor right across the street from me on Robinson, number 1 Robinson, with a child at Robinson School. And I said, Avi, would you walk your daughter? Would you walk Viba to school? And he said, no, we take the bus. I said, yes, we do have wonderful bus service here in town. The third thing is the cost. I've tried for 15 years to get town water in our area, and I've been rejected by the water department. We don't even have town water, and you're going to spend over $1 million on a sidewalk. It just doesn't compute in my brain. I guess I don't know what we have money for, what we have money not for. So those are just my points.
Town historian Robert Oliphant of Robinson Road said he's never seen walkers on his street in the 42 years he's lived there.
Very few people, if anybody, walk their kids to school. Both of the schools are elementary schools. I do see one man who lives down in the Buckingham area, which is across Concord Road from Robinson Road, who does walk his son up to Crisafulli on occasion. I've seen that. I've never seen, in the 42 years that we've lived on Robinson Road, I've never seen any elementary school children walking to either Crisafulli or Robinson School from our end of the road. So I don't think it would be used by school children going to school. I think you can also make the case that if you encourage school children to walk to those elementary schools, that you may be causing more of a safety hazard than if they don't go, because now they go by bus or by automobile, and if you have children walking to school and at the same time that people are driving cars in and buses in to let kids off at school, I think that's more of a safety hazard than busing the kids to school in the first place.
Barrett stated that if the plan received support from the Capital Committee, it would then go before the Finance Committee and Selectmen as part of the fiscal 2021 capital budget. The long process, if approved at a future town meeting, involves conducting a survey, communicating with abutters, drafting design plans, getting a construction estimate, and finding the funds to pay for the project. Read more on this topic by visiting WestfordCATnews.org and searching for the words stone walls. The article ran on May 17th. At the June 12th meeting of the Conservation Commission, members heard arguments for and against the use of leashes to harness dogs at the 286-acre parcel known as East Boston Camps. The land is under the care and custody of the Commission. Commission Chairman Peter Mahler said Town Manager Jody Ross had asked him to lead a discussion on whether the town should send police officers to the East Boston trails to enforce the town's 24/7 leash law. Mahler said a dog bit a human on the property, and there were a number of incidents recently as the population of those walking the trails has increased.
Just so everybody knows, there's been quite a few complaints and issues up at Stony Brook Conservation Land with dogs off leash. The town manager's office asked me if they could send patrol units up and have people put the dogs on their leash, because we had one bite, a human bite, dog. We had a couple of other nasty situations where loose dogs have gone after other dogs, including my own. So it's the town manager asked me to bring this up for discussion, and I think what we're looking at is possibly changing our rules at Stony Brook Conservation Land, or at least the East Boston Camp side of it, to require dogs to be put on leash.
Dog walker Patrick Viebert advocated for allowing the dogs to run off leash, highlighting the unique seclusion of East Boston Camps, otherwise known as the Stony Brook Conservation Land. But he quickly found himself caught in a feisty exchange with Commissioner Eric Fowle over enforcing the leash law.
But East Boston Camps is different. It's surrounded by water, and then the old railroad line at the end, and the brook there. So there's so much room to kind of.
We guys in the room, we made that happen for you. So
I
I'm
know.
just saying, we know that property
You know
well.
that. You will.
Yeah,
but
I was at town meeting when we voted for it, and I'm the guy who spoke to putting it in our care and custody.
So you know how
I it
beautiful
well.
that is, and so many residents get to go there all the time and walk their dogs, and the ones whose dogs are well behaved and they're not vicious and they're not attacking things. I see them all the time. They're regulars, in the afternoons and the evenings, and I
So
would
if your
caution
dog is
against
running free and not at your side, how is it meeting the intent of the bylaw that says it needs to be on a leash, a chain, or otherwise controlled? That what you're describing and the ability for that dog to run free is contrary to the rules established for that property.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I don't know how we have the ability now to currently allow you to have that ability to let your dogs run free when it's contrary to the regulation.
The public discussion will be taken up again at the June 26th meeting when WestfordCAT streams it live into your home. Watch all government meetings live or on demand at westfordcat.org. Town officials organized a strategic planning meeting on June 13th under a tent at Kimball Farm, where hundreds got a dinner courtesy of the town. The meeting was designed to bring residents up to date on activities and give them the opportunity to ask questions. Presenters included town engineer Paul Sterrett, who spoke on storm water management, and Selectmen Chairman Elizabeth Almeida, who notified residents that the Board of Selectmen will discuss how to fund the new state storm water requirements at their July 23rd and August 13th meetings. Selectmen Scott Hazelton and Tom Clay opened the meeting by reviewing the activities of the town and school safety task force. Here's Clay.
Any other questions that you have? I know we've had questions in the past about would there be recommendations to have more school resource officer presence, maybe at younger grades like middle schools. That is something that has been brought forward as a recommendation. We're not going to make any decisions about what this committee will recommend until we get the wellness report, because we really want to balance the wellness. We want to always remember that our first job is to make schools a safe, inviting, warm place of learning, and so we're always thinking to ourselves, how do we hit the balance right between keeping people safe and also keeping the environment right for students.
WestfordCAT will bring you the entire meeting at westfordcat.org.
Hi, I'm Jody Ross, here to give you an update. So we had our strategic planning retreat last week at Kimball Farm, and it was a great success, even though we had rain and temperatures in the 50s. We had 352 residents show up, and the two topics that were on the discussion were stormwater management and town and school safety. And they were presentations by town officials, questions from the audience, and then we did conduct surveys online in paper form, and we will be following up at a future selectmen's meeting with the results of those surveys. Farmers Market's coming up. It will be July 9th, the first Farmers Market. We have a lot of Westford Academy volunteers. We have about 25 vendors, some prepared foods, herbs, all sorts of crafts and different things are going on. I also have Westford Academy. They'll have their orchestra there a couple of the days, providing us with music, and we will also have some exercise clubs from around town showing us some different exercises that are available, like Orange Theory, Pure Bar, and spinning, and some other things. So please join us on Tuesdays beginning July 9th on the Common from 2:30 to 6:30. And then finally, we have our special town meeting. It was originally going to be on the 21st of October. We have changed that to October 28th at the Abbott School. If you remember now, they start at 7 p.m. And we've got probably some very interesting things coming up on the warrant, so please mark your calendars for that. So that's it for this week, and thank you very much.
Zyra, a 6-year-old black lab, is available now for adoption at the Lowell Humane Society. Here's WestfordCAT's production coordinator, Patty Stalker, with more.
It was hard not to fall in love with Zira, a 6-year-old black lab who recently returned to the Lowell Humane Society. Here's the shelter's volunteer coordinator, Marie Belargian, with more.
This is Zira. Zira is a 6.5-year-old black lab. She did originally come to the shelter as a stray a little over a year ago, and at that time we did find that she had heartworm. She spent some time in a foster home while she was undergoing treatment, and she was fully cleared. That family did end up adopting her, but after spending some time in the home, as she got comfortable, it turned out that she really likes her people and her things to herself. She doesn't like to share it with another dog. There was another dog in the home, And at that point, they didn't really get along anymore. So Zira did come back to us. She is an absolute love of a dog. She loves to hang out with other dogs in the dog park, going on walks, things like that. But she's not gonna look to enjoy a life with another animal in her home. She does want to be the only pet. Zira would be fine living in a home with older kids that have maybe spent a little bit of time around a dog. We are looking for a vet reference for Miss Zira. She is a little bit heavy and she does need a little help to lose weight. So we're looking for a family that can really work with a vet on a weight loss plan. Overall, she's an absolute sweetheart, but she does have a few little quirks. Zira likes to eat things that maybe should not be eaten. So her family is going to have to be willing to be on the lookout for that as well. I'll be honest, Miss Zira is currently my favorite dog here at the shelter. She is just an absolute love bug. She likes to be petted. She will, if you sit on the ground, she'll often like put her head in your lap. She likes to get lots of love and affection. Exercise, maybe not her favorite thing. She did participate in our recent Muddy Paws 5K. She did the 1 mile version and she came in at a whopping 38 minutes for her 1 mile walk. But she finished, that's what counts. If you're looking for a new companion, I can't recommend Zira enough, as long as you're able to work with a vet on a diet plan and also are aware that, you know, she might chew things that are not totally appropriate.
If you think you'd like to provide Zira with her forever home, or would like more information on donating to or volunteering at the Lowell Humane Society, visit them Tuesday through Sunday at 951 Broadway Street in Lowell, or go to lowellhumanesociety.org. Call 978-452-7781. You can also find them on Facebook. For Westford Cat, I'm Patty Stalker.
This is her. Hi, Mama. I know I love you. Thank you.
The weather this week has been disappointing, but it looks like things will improve for the weekend. Let's see what weather.com has to say. Here's WestfordCAT board member Betsy Alvarez with suggestions for things to do in the area.
Learn to play the ukulele by participating at a Strum Along on Saturday, June 22nd at 2 p.m. at the J.V. Fletcher Library in Westford. Instruction focuses on 2 or 3 key chords, and it's suitable for beginners who want to practice and play music with others. Ukuleles are available to borrow, and songs will be projected onto a screen so you can sing to your heart's content. The program is open to adults and teens. Register at westfordlibrary.org. The Live for Live Foundation of Westford and Human Harmonies of Chelmsford are sponsoring a free self-defense class for women June 28 from 7 to 8 p.m. Learn simple and effective self-defense techniques and increase your awareness and attention to your surroundings. Live for Live is dedicated to raising awareness of domestic violence. The event will take place at Human Harmonies, located at 17 Alpine Street, Chelmsford. Email Jill at humanharmonies.com for more information. Speaking of Live for Live Foundation, the organization's annual bike ride and 5K road race fundraiser will take place on Sunday, July 14 at the 4-H Fairgrounds on South Chelmsford Road. Register for the Ride for Live, Run for Live at liveforlive.com or in person on the day of the event. beginning at 8 a.m. The 50-mile bike ride takes off at 8:30 a.m. The 23-mile bike ride leaves at 10 a.m. and the 6-mile bike ride leaves at 11 a.m. The road race and family run begins at 10:30 a.m. Entry fees vary from $25 to $100, depending on the race. I am Betsy Alvarez, a WestfordCAT board member.
That's it for now, Westford. Here are scenes from the Strawberries and Art Festival that took place on June 15th.